Welcome back to my Keto Kitchen, Keto Naturopath Kitchen. I'm really excited about what I'm making for you today. It's the fall time of year. I love the fall. I grew up in New England. The weather was changing. It was a little crisp in the air, apple time, and pumpkin time. So today I'm making a pumpkin roll. And it is the pumpkin time of year, and I have lots of pumpkin recipes for you. First of all, we start off with 6 eggs separated. I have the egg whites in this bowl, and I'm going to beat them to a stiff peak. The reason I do the egg whites first is I don't have to wipe out the beaters. I used to do the egg yolk mixture first, then the egg whites. And somebody said, well, why don't you do the egg whites first? And I'm like, duh, brilliant, because they're going to stay stiff peaks while I finish the rest of this. So this is 6 egg yolks, and I'm going to beat them until they're light and pale. To that, I'm going to add 62 grams of xylitol while I am beating this. Again, I use xylitol because I cannot use allulose or erythritol. They both give me digestive issues plus severe headaches with erythritol. The only sweeteners I can use are xylitol and stevia. As you can see, it turned very light and pale. I used granular xylitol. You can use powdered if you want. To that, I am adding 30 grams of egg white powder, a teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice, a half a teaspoon of gelatin. And I'm going to whip this up and also add a half a teaspoon of vanilla. And the pumpkin pie spice that I use, the 1 teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice, is the pumpkin pie spice I mixed up myself. Past 2 years during COVID pandemic, I could not find pumpkin pie spice, so I started making my own, and I actually like it better than store-bought. And I also, during that time, there's a liquid pumpkin pie spice that I have used, but I prefer my pumpkin pie spice the most. So I'm going to mix this up. That's good enough because I'm adding, this is 165 grams of pumpkin. Now, all of your carbs are going to come from the pumpkin. So if you want less, you can use less. This is like 3/4 of a cup. You can use a half a cup if you want fewer carbs. I wanted the pumpkin taste, so I am using 3/4 of a cup. And now we're going to mix that in. You can smell the pumpkin pie spice. Oh, it smells like fall. We're going to fold in the egg whites. As I mentioned before, yes, you're probably supposed to use a spatula. I prefer my spoon, so I'm doing it with a spoon. I care more about the taste than doing it right. I'm not a professional baker. I'm just a home cook. So now you take a jelly loaf pan. I got this on Amazon. I will link below to the one that I bought. And you just pour the batter into the jelly loaf pan. So you spread this out so it's even all the way to the edges. I'm going to bake this for 20 minutes in a 350-degree oven. We're going to take it out, let it cool slightly, but you want to roll it up when it's still warm. So I'm going to put this in the oven, and I'm going to come back and make the cream cheese filling. So now I'm going to make the cream cheese filling for this. I have 4 ounces of cream cheese. I didn't think I needed a whole 8 ounces, so it's 4 ounces. And in here I have 20 grams of xylitol that I'm going to powder up. What I like about this one, and my other one did not, that you could actually take this out and you can put it in the dishwasher. So what I'm going to do is whip up the cream cheese. It's softened, it's been out of the refrigerator. I'm just going to whip this up. I'm going to add the powdered xylitol and continue whipping. Now that I see this, I hope this is going to be enough, but I think it will be enough. You don't need that much, and I try to be dairy-free, but I do love cream cheese and pumpkin. So some alternatives would be the dairy-free cream cheese you buy in the store. Ingredients aren't all that great, but it would be an alternative. Or my Italian meringue that I use in my Swiss roll. So if you wanted to make it dairy-free, you could do it that way. But today I'm going to use cream cheese. So the cake will finish cooking. It's going to be so we'll be back in about 20 minutes and we'll assemble it. So after 20 minutes, I took the cake out of the oven. I covered it with parchment paper, and it's been sitting for 5 or 6 minutes to have it cool down a little. But you still want it warm when you roll it up. So here we go. We got to flip it over. Take the parchment paper off of the bottom. Okay, here we are. So now we're going to spread the cream cheese filling over this. If you want more cream cheese, maybe you do your whole 8 ounces. As I said, I only did 4. Now I normally roll it up lengthwise, and when in watching the British baking show, half of the people rolled it up this way, the other half that way. I think you get more of a swirl when you open it, you roll it up this way. So I'm going to try it since I don't normally do this. So now, put it in the refrigerator for a couple of hours to let it set, and we'll be back in a couple of hours and we'll taste it. So the pumpkin roll has been in the refrigerator for a couple of hours, so now we're going to taste it. If you're having guests and you're serving, you might want to not serve them the end piece. It doesn't really swirl as good. So I'm going to... Oh, look at that. That looks amazing. There's a rolling it up that way makes the swirl much bigger. And now we'll taste. It's just the right amount of cream cheese for me. If you want more, do 8 ounces of cream cheese instead of the 4 that I did. This is amazing. A great fall treat. It's nice and light. It's not heavy. Oh, you just have to try it.